Warning: the following podcast, which contains strong language and mature content, is unsuitable for children or for the faint of heart. The subject matter discussed will be frightening and graphic in nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Three spooked girls. Three spooked girls. When you wanna hear about the paranormal, you get the spooked girls. True crime that makes you hypothermal. With the three spooked girls. Stabby snippets will give you dreams. Tara and Jessica will make you scream along with the spooked girls. Bring on the slaughter. We on that haunted ground. Spooked girls. The three spooked girls.
Hey there, Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on Three Spooked Girls. My name is Jessica, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite gal pal, Tara.
Hey, Spooksters.
Today, we are doing another retelling of Greek mythology. You know I love this. This is fun for me. We're going to talk about Zeus, but before we do that, let's talk where you can find us online. If you are on the internets at all, the apps or anything. Sorry, I saw an episode of, what was I watching? And he was like, you looked at all the internets, all the sites, and the young person was like, yeah, all the internets. And he's like, good. Internet. I'm like, what is this show? What was I watching? I was rewatching Only Murders in the Building. And
oh, so good. Love that show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Steve says it to Selena and she's like, yep, all the internets. And I was like, okay, good. If you want to find us on the internets, our handle is @3SpookedGirls. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all the places that you are on. We are on our Facebook group, which is a fun place, a little corner sliver of the internet, which is fun, is Three Spooked Girls Official, obviously on Facebook. We do everything there from announcements to right now, like in real time, one that just went up the last day of the month. We have this one that pops up like, show us your favorite photo from this month. And I always love this one because then you get to see what people did.
So fun. I know. I love it too.
It's a lot of pets. And I get really excited about seeing other people's pets.
Right?
Like, yes.
I know.
So definitely check that out. If you want to help support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/3spookedgirls. For little as $1, you get a bonus episode each month. 5 and up patrons, you get ad-free episodes the day before, but also currently right now our recap of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. And let me tell you, this show never leaves. I mean, sometimes some of the episodes are boring, but they never leave you thinking like, wow, that was a waste of time. It's more of like, wow, she lives a real life that's not a little boring. I get it. Mm-hmm. It's fine. But definitely, if you want to check that out, head over to Patreon. Obviously, everything is in the link tree that's in the show notes. So that's a really easy and convenient place so that you don't actually have to remember any of the things I just said. Just go to the link tree. We also have a Discord. If that's your chosen platform, I get it. A lot of people are over there. We have it. People are talking over there. Go see it. That's also where we host our book club. We have, as Three Spooked Girls, we have our own book club. It is called the Spookster Literary Society. We read 2 books every month. I don't know what May's is because this is technically the last day of March. So I don't know yet.
It'll be a surprise for everybody.
Surprise for everyone. In real time, we have like a meeting today. We have 2 books, but first we have a main read. By the way, all of these are voted on by people who participate within the book club. So we put up a list of options. People have given suggestions, and then we vote on it as a club. And then the most popular one wins. So we have a main read that could be true crime. That could be like a cozy mystery. That could be a cozy romance, or it could be anything really.
I've given you nightmares. Yeah, I know. Incidents Around the House was like our October book last year. Mm-hmm. And that book, I told Jessica, I was like, that's too scary for you. Don't read it because it scared me.
She's like, don't read this book. I was like, but I bought the book and the audiobook. And she was like, definitely leave the lights on. And I was like, okay. Still have not read it because still a little afraid of it. Hopefully one day I won't be as chicken and I will read it and I will be like, Or this will be one of those moments where I read it and be like, that wasn't scary. And you're like, you're psycho.
See, here's the thing. I feel like if you just read the hard copy, that's probably how you would feel. But if you are either immersive reading or you're listening to the audiobook, you're going to be freaked out because I did the audiobook / followed along, and oh my god, all the roses to that voice actress, like fantastically creepy. Fantastic.
I love a good voice actress. Tara and I have discussed this recently. We've talked about, because at work, I no longer listen to music. I listen to audiobooks, which has increased my number exponentially this year. But Tara and I both have started books where we're like, we can't read this. We can't listen to this because the voice actor is just, there's something in their voice. And it's probably good for other people, not for us. Amanda Ronconi is my favorite voice actress, just as a random. She reads a lot of the books I consume. So sometimes I start books because she's reading them.
Yeah, I don't remember. There's one that I'm like, she's my favorite too, and I can't remember her name right now. I've noticed she's popped up in a lot of like Audible originals and stuff. But yeah, it's like, because sometimes I'll go look, because you can look by narrator too, if anybody else is super into audiobooks. And I've done that too, where it's like, I've saw that person is reading it. So I'm like, automatic read. I don't even care what this book's about right now. I'll get through it.
Yeah, no, I've gone down that way. That's actually how I found one of my reads right now. I've been reading this. It's like the Sugar Shack Witch Mysteries. They're really cute. Amanda Ronconi like voiced them. And so I had searched, was like, oh, I think this would be great. And it was like a 7-part book series and it's complete and done. I was like, you have me at complete and done, except for I had to wait for the 6th book because it wasn't on Audible and it was nowhere. I literally was like, I'll just bite the bullet and pay like the actual amount, like the 30 something dollars that this is, because I needed it that desperately. And it was not there. And then they released it. I read somewhere online that the audio was messed up when they released it. So they had to like redo it. I was like, okay, I needed to know the story so much. I was like, I'm going to just read it. I'm just going to read it and not have Amanda Ronconi read it to me. And then it came out and I was like, I'm restarting. Sorry, this has been a weird sidetrack. I apologize, people.
I love that. I actually, we'll be back by the time you guys hear this, but I actually have that in my library to listen to during traveling. So I'm excited.
I love it. Tara and I both like have our own Audibles, but we're like, do you want my Audible? My Audible has these books. And she's like, my Audible has these books. And sometimes we buy the same book. And I was like, we should have planned this where like I buy a book when we were like, for like, especially like for the book club, it's like, I'll buy this book, you buy that book, and then we'll switch.
Right.
But
I know.
I also recently, you mentioned it the other day, you're like, oh, I need to start using my Libby again. I was like, oh my God, Libby has audiobooks. Like, and that's how I read Gone Girl.
Love it.
Also, go and comment in our book club what speed you listen to your audiobooks at. It's the Spookster Literary Society. Tara and I talk about this because Tara is like a purist and she listens to it at the speed in which they record.
Yeah, it's not even about being a purist. It's just my brain I can't do what you do. I can't work. Like I listen to audiobooks sometimes when I'm working too, because I play with a lot of spreadsheets and documents and that kind of shit. But I can't pay attention. I can't fully pay attention if it's going super, super fast. I need the regular. No one judge me.
No judgment. But here's the problem now. When I go to listen to audiobook, like when, Strawberry Patch Pancake House came out, I was like, I want to listen to this in its pure form. It took me like the first 10 minutes of listening to that book was painful because I was like, why are you talking so slow? Because the way that audiobooks are recorded is to be pleasant for listening. It's not the same cadence in which we talk.
Right.
So this is why I know a lot of people who are like devout podcast listeners who cannot listen to audiobooks for this reason, is because Tara and I are a lot like Gilmore Girls. We do talk a little faster. Whereas like audiobooks talk at this speed, which is okay when someone's reading you a story, but my ADHD brain needs to process faster. So, but there are some books that I will read at speed. Anything with like celebrities that I like. I read one recently that Nicola Coughlan was the voice actress on, and I was like, ooh, I'm reading this. So yeah, now that we've spent 10 minutes just talking about books and Audible,
go
join our book club
now.
Go join our book club. Okay. We're going to do another retelling today. Now we're going to do Zeus himself. So let's talk about Zeus. If you know anything, Zeus is the king of the gods, or as might affectionately call him throughout this episode, Thunder Daddy.
Oh my God, I can't.
I was like, what are nicknames? This is why you should not Google things, because I Googled, what are nicknames for Zeus? And Thunder Daddy came up and I was like, that's the one. He is an eternal philanderer with zero chill. That is the perfect description of that man. He has never met a situation where he did not think with his penis. He was like, I need to do all the fucks and consequences be damned. But before, like, my favorite is this. Think about it before the fact that he was like tossing lightning bolts out there and wreaking havoc on mortal women. And he was basically running Mount Olympus like it was a frat house where he was the president that like hasn't quite graduated from college. And you keep going, isn't this your third year as a senior? He was just a baby god who had a lot of family trauma. If you remember from our last episode, he had a lot. And I do mean like a very serious level. We're talking cannibalism, betrayal, maybe some unsolved daddy issues. Really, it's so funny because I edit a lot of my stuff using ChatGPT and I was like, what does this sound like? And it was like, this sounds like an episode of The Sopranos.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I was like, yeah. So we're going to do a quick recap. So remember Zeus's dad, Kronos, he was a Titan. He had problems because of his dad. And basically there was this prophecy that said, dude, if you have children, they will overthrow you. So what does the man do? He has all of these children because, you know, abstinence wasn't the option for him. He didn't think like, maybe if I don't have children, I can't be overthrown by my children. No, was not a deterrent. He was like, I got it. I will make my spouse, Rhea, go through labor and then I will just num the babies. I will eat them like just one gulp. And we were talking just no chewing, just full on like swallowing a long aspirin, these babies. Like I said that the other day. I was talking about like, I said swallowing a long aspirin without water in reference to not wanting to like do something. I was like, I would rather swallow a long aspirin without any water. And everyone was like, oh my God. I was like, I'd rather asphyxiate on like an apple. Like, I don't know. These are options for me, people, than whatever didn't want to do. But I was like, I'm so glad I get to bring that into this episode. So now Zeus's mom is like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. We have a baby. He knows I'm pregnant. So she runs away, has a baby in a cave, brings a rock swaddled up. Now imagine this, because the babies inside of Kronos, like they grow to be people, like full, like adults. As Zeus grows, they too grow. But can you imagine them being like, do? Oh my God, another one. Oh, this is just a rock. Dad ate a rock? What the fuck? Like I started thinking about that last time. They're like, oh shit, Dad's just eating rocks now. So anyway, she does the whole switcheroo, gives the rock wrapped in a blanket. He swallows it. And then Zeus grows up. He's raised by nymphs and a goat. Basically, he was raised on goat milk. And he basically was like fast tracked into puberty. So like, imagine y'all with young teenage boys, like pubescent boys right now. Think about it as if they started at like 3, like, just grew real fast, right? You're like, I don't want this. So then Zeus comes in, gives like a potion thing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Kronos vomits up all his children, all of them. And they're like, yay, let's be reunited. And he's like, hey, sis, so now that you're not stomach acid, do you want to like help me destroy Dad? And all of them were like, yeah, let's do it. And they basically start the Titanoctomy, which is basically the equivalence of like, I don't know, the Avengers, like Infinity War. Like we go into fight. It's basically fighting Thanos at this point. Okay. Which, by the way, in Greek mythology, there is a Thanos. He is just the god of death. And he's the one who like goes and gets, when you die, you see him. And then he takes you to the underworld where you meet the dude at the gate, which I'm forgetting his name right now. Chiron. You meet Chiron at the gate. So I guess it's aptly named the god of death is Thanos. So at this point in time, they win. The Olympians, who are his siblings, all win, and they basically take the Titans and put them in Tartarus, which is like one of Hades' like special like dungeony areas of his hell. Now Zeus has gained control of the power. All the guys, like basically they were like, well, you know, he did all the work. Maybe we should let him be king, even though he is the baby. I always assumed that he was not the baby. I always assumed he was like the oldest, which is why he was like king of the gods. But that's not it. Poseidon and Hades all are like, there's definitely like a tier system to the gods. There's a caste system within the gods. Poseidon, Hades, and Zeus are the like top tier. They're like the cool ones. Hera being Zeus's wife. She like somewhere between like tier 1, tier 2. She like tier 1.5. She gets a lot of the same privileges as the top tier ones, but she's not given the same amount of respect. And we all know that's because she's a woman. Call it out. Greek mythology, very sexist. Now Zeus is basically like, he gets to be dramatic and he is just frolicking around the world shirtless. Apparently all depictions of him are shirtless. Dude was like, he like hulked out of his clothes and they were like, you know what? This is getting too expensive to try to put the man in a tunic. Like just drape a cloth. Just so that you know, he was a horny man. Horny god.
Isn't
like,
so many of these people are like so many of these entities and characters, aren't they all horny as fuck? Let's be real.
Yes. Very much so, yes. But like think about it, like there's like the horny ones that like Poseidon, who like is like essaying women in temples. But then there's Zeus, who just fucks with like, he's unabashed. And a lot of it is essay, let's be real. But he has no preference between women, gods, men, cows.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say he's pan, but that's different. Okay. Blame it on the goat milk.
It's that goat milk. He's like, was raised by a goat and he was like, everything's game. Literally. Zeus was just like, this is my life. Yeah, no one was safe from Zeus's dick. Like, if he wanted you, he was like, you're gonna be mine. We're gonna get into Zeus's wives in a minute, but like the most commonly known or recognized wife of Zeus is Hera. Unspoiler alert, because you learned this in the last episode of this. Hera and Zeus are brother-sister, which is, you know, very in with Greek mythology, is that why marry outside of your family? It's not so much a family tree as it is a family circle. He was married to multiple ones of his sisters. So,
okay.
Just, he's not so good. One of the things, like there is a show, it's called Chaos. It's on Netflix with Jeff Goldblum, who plays Zeus. I highly recommend it. It's got the story of Eurydice in it. It's got the story of Dionysus in it. It's got Poseidon in it. Hera's in it. They just, like most modern retellings of this, do not talk about that they're siblings. Okay. They straight up call it out. They're like, he's like, you're not just my wife, you're my sister. You have to be on my side. And she's like, yes. And I was like,
gross.
It makes me feel icky. So yeah, he married his sister. And I think she was like, 'cause like she's his last wife. She's like the one who's going to wait him out type person, to quote Emily Gilmore. You just got to wait him out, like Frank Sinatra's last wife. And she thought, like, I don't know, he would just like calm down, and he didn't. He cheated on Hera so much. However, Hera is not to be fucked with or messed with. This woman has vengeance down to like, I don't know, like applying lipstick. This woman could do it flawlessly. Effortlessly. Anytime he would go out and do things, and like they really need to make like some sort of series just about Hera's vengeance on Zeus's mistresses.
Ooh,
because they literally should, because she's like killed people, she's turned them into like animals, she's made them trees, like she just gets real fucking bitchy, and it's just like, ugh, which is not the lesson we should be teaching Hera. We should be just cutting off Zeus's balls, because that's also an option. You can cut off God's balls and they will grow back. It just takes them out of commission for just a smidge of time, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So gross. So he married his sister. But let's talk about all of his wives. So the first one is Metis. Metis was a Titan. She's the goddess of wisdom and cunning, which did not really help her in her situation with Zeus. I just want to point out. Zeus was like, I want her. She's the one I want because she's super smart. It's like started with the nerd girlfriend, essentially. However, she was like kind of too smart. And basically the fate said that if she'd had a son, he would overthrow Zeus. I feel like the fates were like, you know what the really easy way to fuck with this family is? Just tell them their kids will fuck with them. And then they'll do something weird and we get to watch it happen. So Zeus, you know, because he has like daddy issues and flashbacks of like his dad eating his siblings and then like him almost being eaten, but his mother loved him more. He was like, oh my God, this is happening. Blah, blah, what do I do? I know, I'll just swallow her too. I'll swallow her whole. The fuck is with these people thinking like, you know, my solution to my problem? I should just eat them. It turns out that when he ate her and she became like apparently a tiny metaphysical smoothie for him, she was also pregnant at the time, which is why he ate her, because she was pregnant. And if he had just waited to see what had come out, he would not have had to worry, because Metis is like in his belly and is pregnant and is going to essentially, they were going to have a daughter, but that's not really how the daughter came out. Like, it wasn't like he burped up a baby. Athena, the goddess of war, burst forth from his forehead, fully grown in her armor and with a spear, and was like, surprise, surprise. Like,
I love this for her.
right? Even though Metis was like swallowed, she still won because like her legacy got to live on. But Zeus gave birth through his forehead, which is a very interesting moment in time. I remember learning this as a kid and I thought it was just spontaneous. No one had told me he ate a woman first.
Interesting.
So, it's weird. And now we're going to go on to wife number 2, whose name I believe is pronounced Themis. Themis is another Titan. She's the goddess of divine law, order, and prophecy. Basically, she was like that friend that you always knew what was going on. She was like in the know, but like she didn't really do much to like stop all the bad shit from happening. She just kind of was like, whatever. She and Zeus had a child named Hooray, and one of the Fates was also one of Zeus's children, birthed by this woman. Her name, I believe, is pronounced, I really hate names I can't pronounce, and I wrote it down phonically, and now I'm like, I don't even know how to say this phonically from where I wrote it.
Oh no.
Moray, which is a Fate. And so, yeah. So Zeus is basically just out here like having wives. But last, Zeus was like, this woman is too smart for me and I don't really want her anymore. And just kind of like gave her like a bunch of ambrosia, which like made her sleepy. And he was just like, bye bye. And like just kind of removed her, like pushed her away to the side. And she was gone.
Okay.
He was just like, who? That person? I don't know where she is. She gone. She left. She not my problem anymore for sure. Which brings him to wife number 2. Her name is Ironome, and she is an oceanide, which is a water nymph. She wasn't just like any water nymph. She was like the water nymph. And basically, she was the personification of wide ruling or how things were supposed to flow, like, which is ironic because nothing about her marriage flowed naturally to Zeus. Together, they had a child by the name of Charitz, or Graces is the name. That I guess is also the name, who was the goddess of beauty, charm, and the general vibes. Those good times. Okay. She was like the it girl of Greece. Basically, this woman was like, I don't really want to be in the drama. She basically was just like, this marriage is a hot mess, and I'm just you good with me leaving? Okay, bye. Like, just dipped. She's like, I don't want to be here. Now, the 4th wife of Zeus is Demeter, which you should kind of know if you know anything about Greek mythology. She is the goddess of, well, at one point she was the goddess of this. She's basically how we got seasons today. We'll explain. So basically, Zeus is like, hey, I haven't married a sister yet. I think maybe I should marry a sister at this point. And he married his sister Demeter, who she's like not really like top tier. So like when we talked earlier, there's like Zeus and Poseidon, and then there's like other ones like Athena and them, and then there's like Demeter, which is like down here. But she is one of the 12. Let's put it that way. There's like the 12 popular ones. She's one of them. And she's the goddess of agriculture and fertility. And she's also like known as like Mother Earth type things. And they had a daughter, and her name is Persephone, which if you know anything about the Hades story, that's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So basically Zeus was like, yeah, you can kidnap my kid and marry her. That's fine. Like, we're all good. Just think that Zeus woke up one morning and was just like, I don't think anything should be off limits, so I'm going to rule that way. And he did.
Yeah, for sure.
So Demeter spent most of their marriage making things grow, which is great, you know, using his power to be more powerful. By the way, Demeter's real favorite thing to do is if you mess with her fucking kid, she just would like turn the planet into like Frozen. She was Elsa before there was Elsa.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. She was like, you fuck with my kid? Ice Town. And basically their relationship was like, it was kind of stable, but it was like not really stable. And she basically was like, okay, look, let's just get divorced and co-parent our daughter and then like move on. We'll just be siblings again. And they did. They just went back to being siblings. They were like, we were lovers, we were married, now we just siblings again. And in some parts of America, that happens. Wife number 5, Neomycen, she was also a Titaness. He likes women of power. Like, here's the thing, like Zeus likes women of power. He just doesn't like them trying to use it on him.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She is the Titaness of memory. And she showed up and was like, hey, I love this part. Hey, do you want to like maybe be together for like 9 days? Like maybe we'll have like 9 one-night stands, but like it'll be a 9-night stand. And they were like, sure. And so that's how we have the 9 muses, is that basically one was created for every night they spent together. And then she was like, I'll give you kids, but I'm not moving in. Peace out. And like basically just never, according to ChatGPT, said, probably never texted back. He was probably like, where are you at? And she was like, ooh, left on red. Good times, right? Good times. Now we're on to wife number 6, which is Leto. She is a gentle Titaness and one of Zeus's less dramatic partners. Unfortunately, Hera hated her guts. Basically, Hera was like, had set her eyes on Zeus at this point, and she was like, bitch, you in my way. And she basically, there were some unholy consequences for her for doing that. She banned Leto from giving birth to anywhere on Earth because Hera needs a therapist for fucking sure. Like, she needs someone to be like, it's okay that the guy that you love doesn't love you back. Like, he can love other people. So basically, she had to give birth to her babies, which she had 2 of, which is Artemis and Apollo. One is of nighttime, one is of the day. She had to give birth to them in a floating island in the sky. And they're twins. That's why they're the gods of night and darkness. Oh. And then finally, we make it to the queen bee, or the queen C for Queen Cunt herself, Hera, who, is the wife. And my favorite part is the CEO of Petty. This woman, we're going to do a whole episode just on Hera because the woman is really petty. Basically, she is his wife, but also his sister, making them more of like a circle or a spider web, or I don't know, other things that crisscross, like just patterns. I don't know. She's the only one who wore a crown, and she basically was with him longest. He cheated on her constantly. We're talking, he was like, I like animals, I like mortals. He had lots of kids. There are children of Zeus we don't even know about. There are children that Hera like killed because she was like, fuck this shit, no more. I said no more. But she definitely channeled her rage. She got joy out of tormenting his lovers and their children. And she just did really terrible things. But she stayed married to him. And it's probably because she wanted more power, because the closer you are to the biggest god is like, the more power you got. Hera, not a good person. They were equally matched in that. But there are some honorable mentions who never quite made it down the aisle with one Mr. Zeus, but definitely made it on the list of people. Hades' mom, Alcmene, she was the mother of Hercules, and Zeus pretended to be her husband, but he did her dirty, and Hera did them both dirty. The next one is Io. Zeus turned her into a cow to like protect her from Hera, because, he knows no boundaries. So he's like, you can be a cow, it's fine. But then Hera stalked her and cursed her. So yeah. Another one was Danae, and Zeus would visit her as a shower of gold, literally sparks and all. Somehow still impregnated her. So no one was safe, no matter how. Yes, I get the fact that he visited her as a golden shower.
I was like, I'm waiting.
I was getting there. I was like, Tara's face, like off mic, is like trying really hard not to giggle. No, giggle, girl. He's a horn dog. He was like, my penis, the world deserves. You know that saying, like, when men are like, I'm God's gift to the world? He's like, I am the God, and my gift is my penis to you. That's really what he's been saying to the world. Yes. So then there was another mistress. Her name was Semele. And basically Hera burned her to death. Basically, she's the mother of Dionysus, who we've talked about a little bit. He's like the god of chaos, party, whatever. So she kind of was like that energy too. And then they were like in love, and Hera was like, fuck no. And basically, after she gave birth, appeared to her and burned her with her holy presence.
Wow, rude. Okay.
Hera just like, stop fucking my husband. Like, at this point, why? I get like a lot of this wasn't other people's choices. Let's put it that way. He wasn't really like, hey, do you want to start a relationship? It wasn't really a choice. It was more like, do I roll the risk of being turned into a cow, or Zeus just murdering me? One of the two. One of the two. So Zeus just had a lot of wives. And I think really Hera was like, I will hurt you back if you try to leave me. She was like, I want this. This is a political thing. Let's do this. But he basically, like, people knew when Zeus was upset because that's when we had thunderstorms and things like that. So he would, like, quote unquote, throw tantrums in the upper world. So, but Zeus also had children, a lot of them. We're going to start with Athena because we've kind of already talked about her for a second. Athena, born from his forehead, just like boop out, no epidural, just straight out of his forehead. It's just so weird. It's just like she's the goddess of war. And it said that Zeus had a headache, right? And he was like, fuck, what do I do? And she used an axe to crack his forehead to get out and was just like, I'm here. So, to say that she literally came forth as like a full adult, she didn't have to go through puberty, thank God. She didn't have to do any of that, but she came out fully like, this is my resume. I am the goddess of war. And they were like, cool. I don't know if you know this, but Helen of Troy is the daughter of Zeus. This is not great. Not great how this happened. So basically, Zeus was like, there was this lady named Aletta, and she was the Spartan queen. And Zeus sees her and turns himself into a swan. Swan Zeus seduces her. I love this. Some say by force. Others say that she was just into bird kink. I don't know what else to say.
That would not surprise me at this point. Just saying.
They don't really get into the specifics, but like I kind of hope it was against her will in like a way because it's like, let's not be into birds. Both are very terrible choices. Like very terrible choices, but like so she laid an egg and that would be Helen. Helen was the egg. So that's interesting Zeus just weird out here being like, I know how I can get a baby born. We also learned earlier of Persephone. He and Demeter were married. They were technically, I guess, in love for a little bit. And then Zeus lets her get kidnapped by his brother. And then she eats the pomegranate and then is stuck in the underworld. And that's why we have spring and summer. And then when she goes back, it's winter or it's fall. And then winter happens because Demeter pissed.
Gotcha.
I always say this guy's name wrong. Hephaestus. He basically is one of Zeus and Hera's children. And he is kind of like the armor, the guy who like builds shit. He's the dude, like you need a weapon, you go to him. He like is the guy, he's often seen like with a forge. He builds things. His name means less than perfect. And he was not a cute baby. And Hera yeeted him from Mount Olympus for being ugly and ruining her aesthetic. And was like,
stop.
Get the fuck out. God. Yeah, he didn't like her and he would just fuck with her like with shit. He wouldn't really help her. He'd help Zeus. Oftentimes when Hera would try to overthrow Zeus, he would be the one who'd be like, Daddy, mama's being a bitch. Like that's literally what would happen. He would tell on her all the time. And it was like a very passive aggressive relationship. He'd be like, fuck this. We will do all of these people. We will have a readout of all of them. One of my favorites is the next on this list is Dionysus. He is basically the god of the party. That's what he does. He drinks wine. Actually, it's really interesting. Zeus kind of fucked with him at one point in time. I think it was Zeus. They made it so that he couldn't get drunk. And so he'd like chug, chug, chug. Nothing happens. Chug, chug, chug. Nothing happens. We see this played out in a kid's movie of Percy Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's a party dude. So remember his mom died. I take it back. I got the story a little wrong. Basically, Hera convinces his mom to have Zeus show the full power, his full power. That, like in the Christian mythology, like you see gods in his form as mortal, you like turn into ash. And so then basically Zeus was like, I'm so sad that my little like girlfriend is dead. And he's like, oh, look, she was with child. So he took that and sewed him into his thigh. And he gestated in Zeus's thigh for 9 months and then was born. And we have Dionysus.
Well, I guess it's better than your forehead.
I mean, Zeus just be giving birth in weird places.
I mean, yeah.
So then we have Ares, who is actually the god of war. I should say, like, Athena is, I think, the god of, like, warfare, like, the goddess of battle. Ares, the god of war, and a walking red flag, because that guy was a douche. He is basically hot-headed, angry, and constantly just, like, upset. He's brooding all the time. And if he was to be depicted today, Aries would have been that teenager who's like listening to metal, smoking cloves out of his bedroom window, and just really thinks he's misunderstood. No one gets me. That's Aries. He's real upset and he's very annoying. The only person that he kind of doesn't annoy is Aphrodite, who just really thinks he's like super hot and whatnot, but also weird. But he's married to someone else and they have an affair. Aphrodite is also married to one of Zeus's other children, but they have 2 children, which they name Phoebos and Diamos, which translates to fear and terror. So like he real misunderstood. The next 2 that we have are Artemis and Apollo. We talked about them earlier. Their mom had to give birth to them on a floating island in the sky. And Artemis is given birth to first and then is like immediately turns around and helps deliver Apollo. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck these Greek babies are doing, but they just like come out ready for action. Artemis, by the way, is a girl. She's very content. She's cool, but she's also really tired of men and she's just like been born. She's like, fuck these dudes. Apollo is definitely like he's the god of the sun. He brings it in. It's kind of like they are the opposites. Like she's like cool. She's at night, that kind of stuff. And he's like a bouncing baby boy. I don't know. I really wanted to say that way. And is very like all about the sun. The next and final child we'll talk about, and then we've got a little bit more of stuff to talk about Zeus, and then we'll be done with this episode. Zeus has another son who's very famous, and we all do the Hercules, not like the Disney movie which by the way, that isn't even from, I don't even think that's from Hercules. I think that's from like, the Nutty Professor, I think
so.
Yeah. But I say it all the time. Hercules. Zeus liked his mortal women and he had a son, Hercules, and Hercules wants to be a god because like Dionysus his mother was mortal and he was made an actual god. And Hercules is like, this is unfair. I want to be a god too. Hera is basically like, I got you. If you do these like all these fucking impossible tasks, I will make you a god, not just a demigod. And it's not a good look. We'll talk about Hercules later. Hera is real fucking rude to him. But we got a really cool TV show out of it for a bit. But then that guy turned into a douchebag. So yeah, anyway. So now we've come to the end of Zeus. Now, basically, there's no end to Zeus. They just, as a Greek culture, stopped talking about the gods. So he just kind of like was there, and then Christianity kind of came in, and like the Olympians became less prominent. And so he was just phased out, and kind of the lure, like the really quick, like the the TLDR of this is he doesn't die. He just fades away and just goes bye-bye. He gets canceled. And so then he just goes away. Unlike Armie Hammer, who keeps coming back, Zeus stayed away. So with that, dear Spooksters, Zeus in a nutshell is a chaotic, powerful, morally questionable god with major character energy. Like he only thinks about himself. Only him. Zeus out there, Zeusin. He's like, I will do anything to get laid. That's literally his thought process. It's not great. Not great look, Zeus. You need to put that away. Just straight
awful
away. Yeah. Adapt or die. You've apparently just chosen to like walk off into the oblivion. But anyway, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of this retelling. I know I said some really weird shit throughout this episode, so I hope you enjoyed it because it's fun to say.
It's so fun.
I like doing those. Okay. With that, we'll see you later. Toodles.
Bye, guys.